All right, guys, this is my video on bats that I think a lot of seniors should go to whenever the bat speed starts to diminish. As we get older, guys, it's human nature. As we get older, we lose bat speed. We can do things out there that will keep it up there where it was. Nothing like when you're in your 20s and 30s, nothing you can take or nothing you can do will actually help you keep that bat speed. You're going to lose some of it because you were young back then. You can take supplements, you can work out. You know, I have a ton of workout routines. I can talk about creatine. I can talk about all these testosterone replacement therapy. But the reality is we're going to lose bat speed. Now, by what we're doing and reviewing all these bats that we do, we came up a few years ago, me, Billy, and Bubba were talking about this, is we think that, you know, as you get older, you get better performance off a softer barrel bat. You get better performance off a handle that'll actually whip a little bit better for you. The way we found this out was whenever we would get bats, a lot of people talk about bats imploding. Like there was a trend on message board a few years ago about does a bat get to the point where it's no longer helpful for you? I'm going to try to cut this off, man. That air conditioner keeps going on and off. Where, and a lot of guys talked about this that had that bat speed 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, was they found out that the bat actually got too soft for them. Well, what happens when a bat gets too soft, it implodes on you. It doesn't trample. The trampoline effect doesn't come back fast enough to shoot that ball out there. So, what we were thinking was we actually gave those bats, Bubba would swing them, Billy would swing them, I would swing them. Those bats that got to that point without cracking, we would actually give those to the older guys, the 60, 65, this one were in their 50s. You know, we give them to the 60, 65, 70-year-old guys and watch them hit it. And we found out that they got really good performance out of it. And they're like, why are you giving me this? Well, what happened was our bat speed was way too high, and it actually softened that barrel so much. And you'll notice this, like the old Dudleys, the OG Dudleys, the 2.0s, that bat will actually get to a point where it's no longer useful for you if you have a high bat speed. So what I kept telling people, what I would do at the end of the year, I've done this for years, and you know, I would go to Worlds, and after Worlds, because I would use a bat that actually had a lot of swings on it in Worlds, I would actually give my bat away. I would just give it out there because I knew if I put it on eBay, I'd only get $50, $60 for it. At that time, well, a lot of seniors are starting to catch on because me and Billy, if you watch behind the scenes, me and Billy actually talk about bats that actually are soft barrel, hard barrel, what kind of handle flex. A lot of guys, and we kind of talk about this because a lot of guys that are out there doing bat reviews are actually testing bats for a lot of these companies out there are young, cock-strong guys, and they can pick up anything. I remember the day where, you know, in my 20s and 30s, where I can pick up anything you put in front of me and I can swing it, you know. And that's when the double wall DeMarinis were out in the late, you know, in my late 30s, and I was swinging an East and Redline. And I thought I got really good performance. So I went to the double wall, and I got a little bit better performance, but still it wasn't no big, because it wasn't this big, because my bat speed was so high, it wasn't this big jump. But what I found out with these composite bats is, you know, if you're hitting it, and you've got 100 mile an hour bat speed, that bat is actually going to implode on you. It's not going to trampoline effect out. So a lot of these guys are just trashing the bat or throwing it away, you know, whatever. I recommend that those guys give it to a girl player or a senior player, not an older guy that has diminishing bat speed. And that's what we do. We'll find somebody either here in San Antonio. Billy will give bats away. Bubba will give bats to people that they no longer can use them, so they actually just give them away, because those bats on eBay It's not worth it, $100. So they would rather just give those bats. And at the end of the year, every year, I'll give a bat away that I have that has that same imploding. It will implode on me. One thing you'll find out, if you know, like, Dave, how can you tell? Well, here's the deal. And I was talking to Charlie Mueller about this the other day, because he was playing in Worlds and he hit this ball square. And the ball just went out to the outfield and didn't do anything. He's like, looking like, I thought I hit that ball better. And I said, because you hit it too square, you didn't cut it, you didn't top it. If you would have cut it or top it, that ball would have took off. What he did was, his bat speed so high, because Charlie kills it, his bat speed so high that that barrel imploded and didn't trampoline act. So it's trampoline out. So it's actually absorbing the weight of the ball coming in, and it doesn't recoil. You know, he would do better with a little bit harder barrel bat. But on you older guys, you know, what I preach, what Billy preaches and Bubba preaches, is you're better off with a softer barrel bat. You know, a lot of the old Dudleys, I'm gonna kind of go through a few here and talk about them. A lot of the old Dudleys out there, all of them, doesn't matter if it's soft barrel, if it's a balanced end loaded at 13 inch or 12 inch, a lot of the old Dudleys, all the 2.0s, even the reissued ones, because again, they had a problem with the reissued bats about breaking, because those are bats that I think Direct Sports came later on, and Direct Sports came around later on and actually bought those bats, and they did not make them. They made them pretty close to what the OGs were, but they didn't make them exactly what they were, and they didn't last that long. 900 swings for us, 1,000 swings, when before we were getting 2,500 on the 2.0 OGs. So those are some bats that I recommend a lot of the older guys get. Remember the Adidas bats, and then they turn into the Reebok. A lot of those bats have soft barrels on them. They never really changed until this year. A lot of the Adidas, Suncoast bats, Reebok bats, a lot of those bats, what happened with this new regs coming out, you know, with the new testing, they made those barrels a little bit harder. But here's the deal, like the Johnny Dykes bat, the reloaded 12 inch, that's my gamer. But that bat gets to a point where it actually will implode on you. It's absorbing too much of the ball if you square it up. Now, I'm a cutter, so I love that bat. I've got like 1,200 swings on my bat. Billy's got on his, here's another thing. We're talking about this today. There's such thing as a handle getting too much flex in it after it's worn its welcome out. Like if it's got too many swings on it, a hand flex will get to be where it's flexing too much. Billy has a Diamond 12 inch from last year. That's his gamer. He's got about 2,800 swings on that bat right now. That bat is actually flexing the barrel, not the barrel, but the handle's flexing too much. He knows that because he's got other bats now that he's swinging, and he can tell that the handles are stiffer in those. So that actually handle on that's the first time I've heard about that on that Diamond 2-piece. That handle will flex too much for you and it get it too wavy, which is good for the older guys. If your bat speed's up there, it's not very good for you. But a lot of the older guys, you know, that have that 50, 60, 70 mile an hour bat speed, 70 is at the top, right? So a lot of those older guys would benefit from that because they're not going to flex that handle a lot because they're not generating a lot of bat speed. And that barrel is so soft that when they hit it, it's going to recoil really fast for them. They're going to get better performance on that bat. So a lot of the Diamonds, I would recommend a lot of the older seniors get, and make sure that they're broke in. The Johnny Dykes 12 inch reloaded, that bat gets there too. What we're seeing in these, I really don't know yet because we just started doing the review on it, is the 12 inch Melee 3. That bat, the 1-piece they're coming out. Those bats, a little bit stiffer, you know, and the barrel handle flex is really good. I like the way Suncoast makes their bats. It just, the guy that makes them knows what he's doing. He's actually the original guy that did the OG Dudleys, the red knobs, the yellow knobs, the bats back then. He's the original designer for those, so the guy knows his shit. I call it the Blake theory. He actually knows the Blake theory. So those are bats that you can pick up. A lot of you guys remember the Big Cat had the softer barrel. It's getting dark, so I'm going to wrap this up. I will put a list at the back of this video of a lot of bats I recommend for you guys to swing. A lot of the Micans from the old days, not the Platinum. The Platinum is way too stiff for barrel for a lot of the older guys. A lot of the Micans, the black Mican, they had out, the black and white Mican they had out, the Unload back then. That's a good bat because that barrel actually implodes. You know, it gets soft. You get some handle flex out of it. The new mic, and they see, here's another thing too. I really put this in here, like the Alan Tanner, the Game Ready bat. I was told that that barrel gets a little softer. I really don't know. I do know that the Johnny Bailey from, you know, last year, the gold one, that bat softens up really good for a lot of the older guys. And that whole line that year, the Jason Kendricks from that year, the AT-18 from that year, the Worth, because they're made in the same spot, those are bats that actually will soften up for you. A lot of the old combats from back in the day will soften up for you, and the barrel actually works really good for a lot of the older guys. That's how when you walk around, you'll see a lot of older guys swinging those old combats. The black one-piece Mican will soften up really good for you guys. If you guys can find one from like 6-8 years ago, that was really one of the best ones. I think they're making them a little different now, a little harder barrel. But once that bat gets there, once that bat gets broken in, a lot of seniors love that bat. One piece Mican black, the Ultra 2. And I'm going to put a list. I know I left some out, but it's getting dark in here and I'm running long. I can talk about this shit all day long. So what I want a lot of you guys to do, and you'll see it, we're starting to get into the off season because we're past Worlds right now, is go out and get you a soft barrel bat off the list that I'm going to put out there. Kind of wait to see, and I'll actually put this in a lot of my videos. You know, this is good for the older guys. This is good for the younger guys. This barrel actually flex really good, so you older guys are going to like it. This barrel's too hard. When you hear my reviews, I'll say that this barrel's too hard. A lot of you older guys aren't going to like it, but the younger kids are going to like it because they're generating a lot of bat speed. So kind of listen in the videos when I talk about this. What I'm doing with this video, I'm giving you guys back of what bats that I would choose from here on out. There, somebody's got one for sale that you should pick up. You know, all of the Suncoast, all of the Adidas, all of the Reeboks, all of the OG Dudleys. Not the newer Dudleys, not the Lift. The Lift's got a too hard barrel, takes a long time. You know, and a lot of guys were asking me about the Bobby Nifong. No, the Mike McCarran. No, those bats are too hard. You guys are gonna pick it up, and it's gonna take you a year and a half to break that bat in. But hey, guys, this is something I'm gonna add on that has been there, and I'm gonna put more so you guys pay more attention to it when I'm doing reviews on bats. Kind of look at it. Listen to what I have to say, what benefits older guys, what benefits young guys. There's kind of bats that are coming out right now that are kind of in the middle. You know, if your bat speed is a little bit higher, you know, high 60s, high 70s, you know, this kind of bat that you would actually benefit from. Thanks, guys.